My name is Christian Karasevich, CEO and founder of SocialChefs.com, and we've got a fantastic show for you this week. This is episode 187 with myself, Phil Gerbershak, and guest Tim Son. So I can't wait to bring everybody on, but I'm going to come on and say a quick hello just to welcome everyone. If you're watching, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook, for example, our Facebook page, facebook.com/socialchefs. Hey guys, how you doing? Do us a favor, you can hit that share button. You can tag your friends, so type the @ and type in somebody's name. You can also start a watch party by clicking on the ... option on our Facebook Live video and select Start Watch Party, and you'll be able to chat along with your friends. Now, we're also broadcasting to YouTube as well. So if you're watching YouTube, you want to make sure you get more of these videos. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and you can also hit the like button as well on this existing video. But I'm excited to have everyone on this week. It's good to have Phil back in the hot seat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Phil on. Phil, how are you doing?
Oh, what's up, Christian? It's good to see you, man. It's been a little while. It feels like it's been years.
It has, actually. It's one of those things. Like I love doing this, every week, having you on as well.
Thanks.
Co-host with me. So I really appreciate, just taking a little bit of your time to work with us.
Absolutely.
So, we've got a great show this week. We've got Tim Son on. I was on Tim's show last week. It's the Tim and Jim show. We were talking about local SEO, and I want to make sure I got the week right. Yeah, it was last week. But it was great being on their show. We had Tim also scheduled to come on this week as well with us. So I'm going to go and bring on Tim and then do a couple things behind the scenes, make sure everything's working. But feel free to, introduce Tim.
Yeah. So Tim is in the house. So Tim is super smart. He's a social media troubleshooter and founder of Son Social Media Solutions. That's SOHN. They're headquartered in scenic Shahola, Pennsylvania, about 2 hours from New York City and 3 hours from Philadelphia. So he's been using social networks and like LinkedIn and Twitter to grow his writing and his editing business. And he's been helping over 100 businesses and nonprofits through social media consulting, trainings, classes, and management. So we're excited to have him here. This is my first time to actually get to talk to him after being Facebook friends for a while. So what's up, Tim?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm super grateful that you guys are having me here. And we had a really great show on the Tim and Jim show, like Christian was saying, on local SEO, which is such an important issue for local businesses, to help get the word out about their businesses. But just really excited to be here today and help everybody learn. And
do your thing, man. Share your smarts.
We're
jacked that you're here, brother.
Awesome.
So Phil, where do you guys want to start this week, by the way? I know we got a lot of topics that we want to start. Where do you want to go?
Well, I think probably the most interesting change that we can see as we talk about for business, as Tim mentioned, he likes LinkedIn as I love LinkedIn too. Yeah. And now LinkedIn allows us to target our ads even more precisely, which I think is fantastic. So AJ Wilcox is the Facebook ads guy. He's been talking that this is coming, right? Or LinkedIn. Yeah, I meant LinkedIn ads. Yep. LinkedIn ads guy for a while. B2link.com. AJ's great. He's been teasing me with this for a long time, and now it's here. Lookalike audiences, Bing data, and audience templates. So for those of us that are tired of getting squeezed by Google and Facebook, now we have an alternative. I think this is going to be holy crap big. I don't know. Tim, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Obviously, lookalike audiences work great on Facebook, especially for national brands. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with lookalike audiences in LinkedIn. And there's other options as well, but I'm especially psyched about lookalike audiences.
Yeah. Awesome. So Christian, I know that you've done some Facebook advertising. Are you thinking about trying some LinkedIn advertising too?
I definitely think that we should be trying some LinkedIn advertising. And the reason being is, as we've often talked about on the show, a lot of times what we have is, we're always talking about like Facebook ads, and we've always said, well, hey, LinkedIn, when LinkedIn has something coming on, we're all excited because LinkedIn for the longest time didn't do a whole lot. So I think this is a really big update. I think that this is a good update if you've been using Facebook ads and, you're kind of tired of here's the thing, everybody does Facebook ads now. So
yep.
I think LinkedIn ads is definitely going to be a great place to really kind of move next with your business.
Yeah. Remember though, it's going to be more expensive, which means you need a higher dollar offer in order to get the ROI out of your advertising. Now, initially, that might not be true. Initially, people might be curious, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of ad fatigue out there. So just ads in general. So be really careful. If you're looking at this, then look close and do it right and invest the money to test some headlines and really hone in on your audience. Because remember, the tighter it is, the better chance you have of conversion.
Definitely. I think I love the idea of this. I like that they're also going to start to incorporate Microsoft Bing data. For those of you watching, make sure that, like you all know that LinkedIn is now owned by Microsoft. So this should be like, you should get really good data, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Let's hope, right? And this also means if you optimize for Bing, which is a little different than optimizing for Google, right? They've got a little different set of rules and they're just as mysterious and crazy as Google is. Yep. But now we can say, well, you know what? Okay, Google, you haven't liked me for a long time. Maybe I'll optimize for Bing instead.
Definitely. I think that's a really good update. So
yep.
Anything y'all want to add on this, by the way? We've got audience templates. We've got a lot of really good things.
Well, templates, right? Templates makes it easy because here's the challenge, right? Even though I think I know who I want to target, LinkedIn may not use the same vernacular, the same vocabulary as Facebook or Google Ads or anything else. So this really gives us an opportunity to see what LinkedIn is saying. Just like, when I coach people on LinkedIn, I always say, look at the LinkedIn industry. Don't worry about their actual industry because it might be different. So same with this templates will give us an opportunity then to see what happens. And I always recommend start with the templates, invest 10, $50, whatever, and then modify from there. Because if there's a template, they know that they want you to spend money. Let's be clear. They want you to get a return on your investment, so you spend more. They're not doing this because they're trying to hose you. They're trying to do this to help you. So please try the template first, then putz around some more.
Definitely. Tim, anything you want to
add? Not really too much. I mean, I think Phil had a great point about, make sure you have a high price offer because of the pricing of LinkedIn ads. There's definitely a lot you can do on LinkedIn organically, especially compared to other networks as well. But I think this is a great, I'm really excited to see what happens with these different options. And I know I'll be testing some of them out.
Awesome.
Very nice. So Phil, where do we go next, by the way?
Well, let's stay on LinkedIn because I think it's interesting that they rolled out a feature that they haven't even rolled out completely on the desktop.
Yeah. To
someone on the mobile. This is fascinating because first of all, what the feature is it's rolling out documents, uploads on the mobile. I don't have any documents on my mobile. This is interesting, right? I mean, now that being said, Apple, iPhone, iOS, whatever you want to call it, does allow me to save stuff in some file vault or something, but I don't do that. Right? For my mobile, all my documents are in Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive. That's where all my stuff is. And now they're going to test it to share a document from mobile. Now, I don't know, right? Like I'd like to say this is a big deal, but I think I think this might have been a mistake. I don't think this was on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know. I don't see a need to have a PDF on your phone that then I update. I don't know. Tim, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I really agree. Unless there's going to be some major transformation in how people use their phone and they're going to be saving documents on their phone, I really agree with you that I'm kind of skeptical if this is going to work.
Yeah, me too. Christian, what do you think, man?
So here's the thing. I think for the longest time, LinkedIn, it's basically the same thing I just said, which is LinkedIn has basically neglected a lot of their platforms. In this case, they've neglected mobile for a very long time. And I think that this makes sense. It depends on the device you're using, though. So, for example, if I can tap into like a Dropbox or a Box or any sort of cloud storage tool, I think that that's where you're going to get the most value at with this. Let's also think you also have, LinkedIn also owns SlideShare as well, which I think they did shut down at some point. But I'm thinking there has to be some sort of I guess maybe they'll tie into Microsoft's cloud solutions if this does come to fruition. So,
yeah, well, even so, it is. Remember, this is uploading local documents on the mobile, right? This is because, frankly, Uploading from OneDrive. You mentioned SlideShare, not dead yet. I used it a couple weeks ago. Might as well be though, because nobody goes there.
Exactly.
If it's local documents, right, that doesn't make sense. If it's not local documents, if it lets me take a file on Dropbox and then upload it and look like it's native and gives it the same treatment, the same exposure, the same, the same benefit to the algorithm as it would if I loaded that from my desktop, well, fantastic. That's great. But if it just provides a link to Dropbox, well, I've already got that. That doesn't impress me at all. That's stupid. So I'm hopeful, right? We'll see what happens. But I'm, like Tim said, right, cautiously skeptical. We'll see if there's any impact. Who knows?
Definitely. By the way, I want to thank everybody who's watching. We've got a lot of great people watching here. Shout out to Eileen Smith. We got Barb Tomlin. Who else we have? We have Gail Gilliland. She was also recently on. We have Justin Brown as well from Primal Video. So lots of really good people on watching. So thanks so much for taking just a little bit of your time today to watch and chat with us. So again, by the way, this feature, this shared documents from mobile, it is potentially something that's testing. The person who actually found this, she actually has been profiled quite a bit on. She basically goes in and finds a lot of bugs that a lot of platforms tend to kind of leave. In this case, she found this when she was doing some reverse, doing some reverse searching there, and found it in their code snippets and whatnot. So very possible, who knows? But again, it's in testing.
Yeah. Well, and maybe, maybe we're starting to see that mobile and desktop are going to be married up, which has been the promise for a long time, right? That's one of the challenges for a lot of people. I mean, when I train on LinkedIn, people are like, well, hold on, I'm mobile only. Like I had one guy in my class, he didn't even own a laptop.
Right.
Well, that doesn't help him, right? That doesn't help him one bit. So this does. This could change his game. But yeah, I think for most of us, I'm not sure. I'm skeptical.
For most people, I think that a lot of people, like, it is interesting, people that don't own a laptop, they try to do everything from mobile. Like, it's great for them. But, again, I mean, it's a lot of people have not gone mobile only because I personally find that working on mobile, for a lot of things, it's very hard. You have to have a specific workflow, a way that you're going to do things. But more power to them, I guess, if it is going to go mobile only. We'll see.
Yeah, it should be interesting. So we'll see. So yeah, but good to talk about a little bit about LinkedIn, because often we talk about the other networks. And folks, if you're getting this and you're like, hey, holy crap, they're talking about LinkedIn, they're going to talk about Facebook, I don't want to miss anything. Go to socialchefs.com/daily and sign up for the daily email. Christian does a great job of sending this out. So make sure you sign up, get connected. One little tip, one little nugget every single day, plus the recap. That's socialchefs.com/daily. So you can get your daily dose of goodness from Christian.
So LinkedIn, okay, we've covered some LinkedIn topics. What else? Where do we want to go next?
Well, let's move over to ads on Facebook.
Okay.
A better way to learn about ads. Now, this is interesting, right? This may not help you run an ad, but this will help you learn so that you can run an ad. And I like this. Again, remember, the networks want you to do more ads. They want you to be better at advertising, because the more money you make, the more you're willing to pay them. Absolutely. So take the time. This is really good. So it's a better way to learn about ads on Facebook. They're going to be more transparent and show, why am I seeing these crazy ads? Mm-hmm. And I got to say, I love the transparency. I'm hoping this is enough for some people. Now, some people just want the illusion of transparency. They just want to feel like Facebook has my best interest at heart. But I really think in this case, I think this is a big move. This is a really good move to offer this. I don't know. Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I actually looked in the ad library. I clicked on the link down below and was nerding out on some of the numbers there. And I thought it was interesting, not to get too much into politics here, but Beto O'Rourke had actually spent more on Facebook ads than Donald Trump. But it is really interesting. I love the transparency. It could help you a little bit in terms of if you're doing marketing. There's a lot of information there about political campaigns and about some organizations that are involved in those things. So you could actually see how much money other political campaigns are spending and some other interesting data.
By the way, how did you get to the ad library? Can you tell viewers how they get there?
Yeah, sure. You just go to this article and you click on the link for ad library right at the top where it says we launched the ad library.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I think overall, by the way, so in addition to, for example, being able to get greater transparency also with this, so a couple of things about the ad library, which, by the way, if you also want to check this out, it was previously called the Facebook Ad Archive if you're in the US. So keep that in mind. But the ad library also lets you search. So you can go and look up different ads. For example, it's not just keywords, but people. Also, if you're logged in. So for example, if you're logged in, it's also useful. And also I want to pull up some of these screenshots because there's quite a few here that I think should be useful. So for example, we've got this one. This is, the standard example you see from Facebook is the Jasper's Market ad. But then you also have another one here on the right. This is for an Elizabeth Rose, I think that says. So you can go and you can see what kinds of ads they use. Personally, though, I like the idea that Phil's talking about here, which is basically to go in and look at what people are, talking about their ads and how they're looking, the text they're using. I think that that's a really good thing that you should go look at. And I love the transparency with this. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. So important that they move in this direction. So important, hopefully, in gaining the trust back of people, especially marketers who have often felt like their stuff might have been shadow banned. Which is, shown but not shown, right? We get dinged. I've got one of my clients who is ready to just crush Facebook because they're so they change his target demographic information on him. He runs an ad. He runs it to women. The ad runs for men. He runs it to people 18 to 35. It runs it to people 55 to 75. I'm like, really? Come on, Facebook. What are you doing here? And so while I get it's not perfect, don't expect perfection, do expect a little more transparency. So what I'd like to see, in addition to all of this, is Facebook show me here's the ad you tried to run. Here's what we suggest. And if you still think that what you ran is better than what we suggest, then we'll let you run it. And even though, I get it, right? You don't want people to get ad fatigue. I understand that, right? Bad ads hurt everybody. But at the same time, this is my target. I don't care if women respond to it because only men buy this product. Or I don't want anyone in Pennsylvania to buy it because it's local oranges to Florida. Come on, right? So just because, someone in Pennsylvania likes it and responds doesn't mean it's an effective ad. So I think this is good opportunity. Good opportunity.
By the way, in addition to this, one other thing I want to bring up is something new for Facebook pages. And, if you're a business, so for example, they've got the ad library so you can see more about the ads. They're more transparent, but there's also a feature for Facebook pages. So within Facebook pages, when somebody goes to the home tab on every single page, according to Facebook, they will have a page transparency section. Now this page, and this is in the screenshot here, so the page information that's also in the ad library, the date the page was created, the previous page merges. So for example, if you're trying to, be sneaky and merge pages that really shouldn't be merged, Facebook's basically giving somebody a history of that. Anytime you've changed your name of your page, also really important. So, it doesn't matter if you've done it because of branding purposes, but if you're changing the page, for example, to get people to like it, to trick them into liking it, that sort of thing, people can see that. The primary country location for certain pages. I think this is very, very, very useful information. If you see in the screenshot here about the page transparency. What do you guys think about that? I think to me, that's a big.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, right? That I want to see that. I've got one company. I know they're the same company, but they set up a new Facebook page for every ad that they run. I'm guessing because they keep getting banned, but I don't know. But they keep, and they're precise. I have to say they're impressive in their targeting. They must see that I like a song on YouTube or on Facebook or something, because then they target me with these beautiful posters of the lyrics, which is interesting. I think that's really cool, but I have no idea how they're getting my information. And so this gives me an opportunity, especially I'm going to guess because they only have 7 likes on their page. They're setting up a new page and then merging, setting up a new page and then merging. And I'm not liking their page, but I'm guessing somebody is. So now they go from 7 to 14, 14 to 21, and they just keep forking that up. We'll see what happens there. That I mean, again, more transparency is a win. Even if people don't care, some of us do care. And if you want it, it's nice to have it.
Definitely. Nope. 100% agree. So Tim, anything you want to add on that part as well? Talking about Patreon.
Not really. I mean, I definitely agree with Phil. Transparency is good. I don't know if all the brands that are doing some shady stuff are going to appreciate it, but as marketers and businesses not in the shady arena, I think they will appreciate it.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
If you're watching at home, if you're watching on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel, what do you think about the ability to have transparency? Do you think that it's actually going to be useful for you? Again, if you're one of those people that you're already breaking a bunch of rules because you're trying to get a leg up on everybody, if that's something that happens, we know that you probably don't care about that particular thing. But, the bottom line is just do the right thing. Like, do what's actually going to help build your page the right way versus, trying to use some of these hacks and tactics that, some marketers do suggest to people. So we talked about, Facebook's ad library updates. We've talked about some LinkedIn updates. Where do you guys want to go?
Well, let's go to this new feature that combines stories and the news feed. That's the next one, I think, which is really interesting. This is, it's changing. We've been talking about this for a while, that Facebook is trying to move us to more stories.
Yeah.
They make it really easy for us to share the stories. The challenge is, a lot of people don't even know what the heck stories are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is a challenge. If you want to increase viewership, readership, whatever it is, you need to increase usership, right? So you need to make this really easy for people to do. And I got to tell you, I still have friends that I think are super duper savvy that don't know what the heck stories are, don't understand how to do it. I can tell you, I struggle some days. Maybe that's because I don't have enough coffee to do my Instagram stories even. So this is an interesting move as they they force us into here. And they make us create stories out of our news feed. And frankly, as I post news, I don't think that's a story, right? A story has a beginning and an end and an arc in the middle. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that just my random post. I mean, do I sometimes share the stories just to see? Yeah, of course I do. I go back and look, and 41 of my 4,700 friends looked at it.
Yeah.
41, not 4,100, 41. So 1%. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems much ado about nothing. And it is a total retraining of people. This is totally different mentally to shift over.
So I'm sitting here going through the comments, for example, and Eileen Smith, she's saying, hey, she loves Facebook page stories. Eileen, feel free to comment as well. Like, what is it you love about stories, and what kind of strategies do you have for viewers if they're trying to figure out, hey, how do I use stories and newsfeed updates? What do you suggest? Tim, what do you think, by the way, about about stories and newsfeed? Like, is this that bridge, for example, that Phil, you kind of just alluded to, that bridge between getting us to use more stories? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was just at Social Media Marketing World in March, and Mari Smith was talking a lot about the future of Facebook and a lot of focus on stories and groups especially. So I don't think it's a shock to anyone that they're going in this direction. I think it's definitely going to take a major change in terms of people's habits. And, Facebook's newsfeed has been vertical for so long. It's a whole different direction, literally. And I mean, I know I work with a lot of businesses that, like Phil was saying, like, they don't even know what stories are. They're just starting to use stories. They're not really sure how to use them. So I definitely think Facebook is wanting people to do more and more stories, and maybe this will be one way to force people to do that, or brands.
By the way, I'm going through comments as well again here. So like Eileen, she's saying, hey, stories are increasing her reach on her page. So I like that they're pushing people to this feature. I mean, that's one thing that, whenever Facebook kind of makes a suggestion here for like certain features, if they start in this case, like they'll give you basically increased reach, increased exposure. So I think that's a good thing overall. So, definitely something to really test out, I think, for your business. If you're using Facebook, if you're just using Facebook newsfeed updates, try running a story or two, for example. Do something, that's a little bit different. So, And
yeah, totally agree. Yeah, mix it up, right? So try to think through content. I was talking to a realtor the other day. Here's one of the things you can think of is if you're going to do an open house, right?
Right.
Think of where are you, what's the neighborhood, take some pictures around it, share a little bit about the open house, let people know when to come, and then take some pictures throughout of some people as well. Don't just take pictures of locations. And now you've got a story, right? 8 to 12 different posts that frankly, if they're all on my timeline, probably drive me crazy. But in the stories, I might click through them and, ooh, that one's interesting. That might be good enough. So start thinking that way, right? About how you might arc that day, how you might arc that event, how you might arc that incident.
Yeah, and Natalia, she made a great comment here. So for those of you who watch stories on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, it'll be interesting to see if people use the same ads or change it up on different platforms. I love that point because I think that what you're going to see is a lot of people are still struggling with how do I take one piece of content and put it out across all these different channels? How do I put it across Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, like so that they're different? It could be the same content, So repurposing, I think, is really, really important, but learning how to do it the smart way.
Yep. Totally agree.
Any other thoughts on stories and newsfeed? Like, maybe strategy. You have a tip, maybe, Tim, that you want to share to get people to try to use stories a little bit more?
I just think even starting out with, behind the scenes, in terms of creating stories based on, maybe it's something funny that's going on in your office. Maybe it's, like providing more personality for your brand. I think that's a good place to start.
Good. Very good point. So Phil, where do we want to go?
Well, go to that influencer one. Fake influencers, right? Tee that up. And I got to bounce for just a sec. Tee that up and Tim talk about this one. Be right back.
So Phil's going to be right back. This is in my opinion, a really fascinating update. And the bottom line is this. So a lot of people, they think like, hey, they want to get Instagram verified, or they want to get verified on any social media channel. And in this case, what they're basically doing is there are people that are preying on people that want to get verified on their channels. In this case, scammers have basically been finding people that, want to get verified and then cheating them out of money. So basically saying, hey, for $300 to $500, they can get you verified. And I'll say this, the bottom line, it's not possible. You can pay somebody $300 to $500 to have them verify your account. And, don't think like, oh, hey, I'll get my sponsor to pay for it or something like that. No, it's not going to work. So
come on, other verified people can't verify you. Come on. I will certify you. If you send me $300, I will certify that you're stupid. And I'll send you a certificate even that says you are officially an idiot. Why did you send me money? Right. So that's so fascinating. And if you don't follow John Cutsier, by the way, he's fantastic. He's someone definitely to follow. Really, really smart guy. He shares a lot of good stuff on social media in the digital space. But the fact that he's seeing this and he's reporting this tells me it's pretty darn widespread, because John doesn't write off on one-off stuff. He spots trends and then talks about those. So this is really, really, really interesting to see people do. I don't know, Tim, did any of your clients beg you to verify them, or, hey, how do I get verified, or anything like that?
I don't know if I've ever, not for a number of years anyway, have people asked me about verification. Like, is verification as much of a thing right now as it was in the past?
Oh yeah. I think so. I want a verified account, right?
Yeah,
I want to get to 10,000. I was talking to, one of my clients yesterday. I want to get to 10,000. The challenge, right? Because I get new features. That's why it's a big deal. It's not like Twitter where, frankly, you get verified. Now suddenly you go from 10,000 or 20,000 followers to 100,000 followers, because now you're almost always suggested, and it actually sends you different alerts that says, hey, an influencer mentioned you, Tim. You should be really excited. What? Like, big deal. So Insta's not that way. But again, if I want to prove that I'm a real business, maybe getting verified is a big deal. I don't know. Christian, what about you, man?
So here's the thing. A lot of people think that verification, and I get this a lot with clients. So a lot of them come in and they say, hey, I want to get verified on, on Instagram or Twitter or any of the networks. And here's the thing, like, the bottom line is it's not going to necessarily like a lot of people think, oh, just because I get verified, they think that all of a sudden, hey, now it's going to lead to this influx of business, or it's going to lead to an influx of everybody's all of a sudden going to start following me and my channel is going to grow. And it's like, well, it doesn't work that way. It's not like, oh, hey, it's a key to open a door. I mean, it opens the door to additional features, but it doesn't necessarily open the door to people all of a sudden wanting to like your brand, and that's going to start with that comes from the content,
Yeah.
you have to be really good at what you do. For example, your channel, for example, you have to publish really good content. You have to engage with your audience. You have to put in the work. And that's the tough part. A lot of people don't want to put in the work. They think that, oh, I'm going to get somebody, I'm going to pay somebody to verify my account. And, oh yeah, it's going to all of a sudden unlock this magical world. And it just doesn't exist. So I'd say, and this definitely don't spend the $300 to $500. You could spend that $300 to $500 on ads or creating, tools to help your business to then, help you produce better content, for example. So for those of you watching, by the way, what do you think about, paying to have somebody verify your account? Personally, I don't think it's a good thing to do. Maybe Eileen, maybe Barb, what do you think? But Phil, what do you think about this?
Well, first, obviously, don't pay. Let's be clear. I'm just going to say that real fast. Don't pay. Second, invest the money. Find a great person to manage your brand. If it's not you, spend the money on some great graphics. Figure it out. Or maybe the reason your account isn't growing is because Instagram isn't where your business is. In which case, shift over to LinkedIn. Spend some time there, right? Invest there. Invest some time, get some better articles written, do some video, do something, right? But please don't fall for stupid stuff like this, right? Any shortcut is nothing but a shortcutted way to fail.
And there's no shortcut to success.
That's right.
There's a book, it's called Smart Cuts. And, it talks about some, smart ways to do things. But for example, getting verified, it's not going to lead to the promised land. Also, a couple of things about this. So this was, I think, showing up in stories. It was in Instagram stories. So here's some fascinating things. If I were to break this down, $450. Hey, look, they're saying, save $150 if you use crypto, for example, cryptocurrency. Right there, to me, that's an immediate red flag. Amazon, pay with an Amazon gift card or crypto. Again, Amazon gift card. I'd rather go with something that, for example, it's maybe it's a PayPal transaction. Maybe it's potentially, a more secure transaction if there is an issue, so that you can go back to that, your credit card, for example, and have them basically, maybe they'll, count it as fraud because, hey, other people have reported it too. But to me, those are really, key things. And then also the fact that, hey, it takes 45 to 60 minutes to complete. That to me is also a red flag. It does take maybe, 45, 60 minutes potentially, because at that point it gives them time to go and do other things, and they've taken your money and, fleeced a bunch of other people. So definitely don't fall for that one. Tim, anything you want to add about this whole Instagram accounts, people getting cheated to get that verified account?
No, I'm good.
Don't do it.
Exactly. Stay away.
Yeah.
Barb mentions here, I'm reading through the comments, she says, hey, this is stupid. This is, not worth my time, my energy to pay attention to. This influencer thing is bound to blow up at the most inopportune time for the industry. Just the way stuff like that rolls over time. And absolutely true. Everybody's talking influencers, people start hearing verified accounts, it then, somebody says, hey, I can create a graphic. They probably created that image in Canva or something, and all of a sudden, poof, now they have, they found a revenue stream. So definitely don't fall for that one. So Phil, do we have any other topics you want to talk about this week?
Well, I don't think we have any other topics, but I do think we got some tools.
So speaking of topics, so we do have, I think we had some Pinterest ones, a couple other things like Twitter, I think was doing some hide replies feature. We're going to put those in the blog post. Again, minor stuff, things that mostly are in testing. I would say check out the Pinterest conversion tools because Pinterest is doing their IPO today. So, obviously Pinterest is now in the business of making money. So they want to make sure that they want to make sure that those tools that are available will actually serve you well. So I think if you're going to run any ads on Pinterest, definitely check out Pinterest conversion tools. That's going to be in our blog post recap. And you get that by going to socialchefs.com/daily. Sign up for the daily newsletter, and I'll send you the recap tomorrow. So let's talk about one of my favorite times of the show. This is tool time.
Tool time. Tool time. It's time to dance. Little
Yes.
tool time. Tool time.
So we have a lot of good topics to talk about, or a lot of good tools to talk about this week. Two in particular. These are tools that Phil actually alerted me to. I think one of these, right, Phil?
Yep.
So the first tool that we have for you this week is a pretty fantastic tool, and it's called Pico Dash.
Yeah, this
So,
is
Phil,
crazy, huh?
Tell me what it does.
Man, so this is really, really interesting. Downloading followers, exporting likes, downloading posts and stories. So you can now analyze other people's stuff. I think this is really interesting. This gives me an opportunity to say, here's an account that is like me, but better than mine.
Right.
What are they doing that's different than me? Give me some analysis, right? Because frankly, just looking on Instagram hurts my heart. It just takes too long, man. So we get a tool like this. We can look for people who use a certain hashtag. Now, of course, some people will abuse this, but I will tell you, this is an opportunity now to go through and see what are people doing, what's working, right? What brands do they engage with that maybe are like mine, so that I can grow my following in an organic way. So I think this has great opportunity.
Definitely. Bottom line is it's going to put everything into a spreadsheet for the most part. You can download your followers, you can download posts, you can download stories, you can export likes and comments. So you can quickly, for example, maybe you export the likes and comments and you compare some posts, and maybe you notice a trend. You notice a trend that like, hey, it happens to have the same people liking and commenting this particular post that's also, liking and commenting on a specific other post that might not be your own. I'd say don't abuse this. I'd say use this wisely. Use it to analyze the data. Don't just use it to identify little niches and and misuse it. For example, don't go all of a sudden start following all these people. Set up a plan. Hey, these are the people I definitely should be following. Very likely, these are the people that maybe I don't necessarily want to follow them right now. I want to get to know those people and so on. Tim, what do you think, by the way, about Pico Dash? Did you have a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I checked it out briefly. I haven't used it before, but it looks really interesting, and we're all always looking to improve our social media content and strategies. And I think it's definitely worth a look. It has a lot of interesting features. I noticed it's not free, but it starts at only $10 a month, so certainly affordable.
Definitely affordable. Here's some other things you get. So, for example, you can get access to followers, hashtag-based audiences, which I think is really useful. That not only allows you to learn more about which hashtags you should be using, but also, for instance, if you notice, hey, there's lots of people that are very active under this one hashtag, maybe I should go follow those people, and try to build up my channel with the right audience. Also tap into location-based audiences. In this case, we've got follower engagement, tagged users, stories and highlights, lots and lots and lots more things. And as Tim mentioned, very cheap. So you could actually use this for the first 100, for free, basically. So you can get a sample of 100 before you order full export reporting. So basically you get up to 100, if you put in a hashtag or a username, export the data. So maybe you want to start with channels that are a little bit bigger than yours, but not necessarily just gigantic channels. For instance, you're not going to want to tap into major brands at the moment. Test it out, see how it works. So that's some example. And then I'll actually pull this up. So this is the report they gave you for followers. Let's just pull this up real quick. So this is exporting somebody's following, for instance, on Instagram. There we go. So basically they'll give you their user ID, their username, the full name, their bio, their website. So basically all the data that's in the person's Instagram bio, their URL, for instance, their follower count. So you don't have to here's the thing. Instead of navigating on their mobile phone, you have all this data basically right there in front of you. You can see if their account is public or private, if it's a verified account, for example. So, maybe if you want to get verification, maybe you reach out to that person and say, hey, how did you get verified on Instagram, for example? Might be a good opportunity to do that. And then it starts at, I think it's $10, I think, for up to 10,000 followers, less than 10,000 followers actually. And then if you go to 50,000, it's 25 and so on. So definitely something worth trying.
For sure.
So that's tool one. And then tool two that we have for you this week is called Perfect Audience. Now, this is kind of a hard tool to, I guess, explain. Maybe did you have a chance to check this one out, Phil?
Yeah. So I did, right. So this is it's a great retargeting tool. I think this is really interesting because typically on the web, the retargeting is light. And by that, I mean, because there's so much secure traffic, you don't get a lot of data. You kind of have to guess. And I have to tell you, that's a big challenge for me because I don't like to guess. I don't like to waste my money. So this now allows us, 40% of ad impressions come from Facebook. So now at least 40%, I can bring them back, even though they're secure traffic. I think that's really cool. It's really helpful. It could be really valuable for folks. Again, if a lot of your audience is on Facebook or you advertise a lot on Facebook and you pixel your page, pixel your site, you got to start there, right? For those that are listening that have never heard of this, go Google add Facebook pixel to my site and get that done. But do that. And then now you can bring about 40% back. And of course, that's industry agnostic there. So that's not an exact number. But I do encourage you, take a look at this. This could help you if you're doing the work on Facebook. Now, if you're just starting out, this is totally useless. This isn't going to help you at all. But if you've been doing this for a while and you're like, well, I know I got traffic, but nothing's happening, this could be a fantastic tool for you.
Definitely. And by the way, I dropped the comments. In the comments, I just dropped in how people go about setting up that Facebook pixel if they've never done it. The other thing, though, about this tool, which I think is very valuable, is it's actually not just for Facebook retargeting, but they also offer retargeting for a number of other platforms as well. So for example, you could do Facebook retargeting, but you can also do web retargeting. If you're in Shopify, for example, you've got Shopify retargeting there, mobile retargeting, Twitter retargeting, HubSpot retargeting, as well as a host of other options. If you haven't yet tapped into that. Tim, what do you think, by the way, as far as this tool about Perfect Audience?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Facebook retargeting. Oftentimes I work with clients who don't have a gigantic budget. So retargeting obviously is one of the most effective ways to use Facebook ads. So, any tools that are out there that will help do that effectively, I'm a fan of.
So can you quickly just kind of talk about the whole budget thing? Like if somebody's got, a limited budget, why is retargeting important for them?
Yeah. So just briefly to describe retargeting, it's, say somebody comes to your website, say you could specify the time frame. So say somebody came to your website within the last 30 days, right? So that somebody has somewhat of an interest in your brand or product you have. Or for example, you could target somebody who's say watched 10 seconds of either a particular video or a series of videos that you have. There's many different retargeting options. You could take your customer list, you could target ads to them, or you could create lookalike. I could go on and on. Okay. But the idea is that you have a warm audience. It's more challenging on Facebook to use Facebook ads effectively in front of a cold audience. It takes a long period of time, obviously. So retargeting gets you in front of a warm audience.
Very good. Yeah. So yeah, for those of you watching, I mean, definitely a tool worth checking out. This tool is, from a pricing standpoint, they give you a free trial. So the pricing is actually, did you check out the pricing, Tim, by the way?
I didn't, not in this one.
It's actually very fascinating. So like you get the free trial option, and I think it's like up to, let me actually pull this up. I want to say it was like 2 weeks. So basically they give you 2 weeks to run your first campaign. And then the pricing is, in my opinion, very fascinating. And the reason it's fascinating is because, for example, if you've run, for example, a Facebook ad, and let's say your budget is $20 and you only use like $20, you say you use the whole $20, then they actually charge you $20 versus, or like say your budget's $100 and you only use $20 worth of ads, they only charge you the amount that you actually use. So I think that's a really fascinating option there. Like, and you could start small. You could start small with a budget, of $5 to $10, and quickly, you're doubling your budget, but you're basically getting the opportunity to tap into this tool as well for a very low price, I think. So anything else you want to add, Tim or Phil, on this one?
No, I think
I'm
it's
good.
worth trying, right? I think this is an opportunity. If you have not made the sales you want on Facebook, but you believe you've got the traffic, this could really help you out a bunch. And again, you don't need a ton of traffic. Let's be super clear. You don't have to have a ton. You can spend $5 or $10 and it can work for you. So give it a try. It's worth at least looking at.
Definitely. So any parting thoughts, anything you want to add, Phil? I know we're at the end of the like topics and the tools. We got more, obviously, we're putting in the blog post recap.
Yeah, I would say, right, just like every week, I would just remind folks, try something. You know, we share a lot of stuff. You don't have to do everything that we talk about. Pick something, right? Could be LinkedIn, could be Facebook, you know, could be some of the stuff that we even share in the notes. I mean, as Christian mentioned, Pinterest is going public like now. Okay. So if you're thinking, oh, Pinterest, I haven't played with it yet. Well, they're going public. This might be your week to take a look and see, because clearly as they go public, not that they weren't wanting to make money before, but now even more so, they need to make money and prove that they're valuable. So try something, you know, don't get overwhelmed. And if you need help, you know, come back to our Facebook page, reach out, let us know.
Tim, anything you want to add as well, by the way? Any specific tips from the topics from this week that you want to share with audiences?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for brands that are using Facebook, that have an audience on Facebook and Instagram, especially, that are hanging out, I would really encourage you all to spend more time on stories, because obviously Facebook is taking those brands in that direction. There's a huge audience growing there. So, you know, so if you haven't been doing stories that much, you know, try, even if it's just a little bit at first, and grow it over time, because that's definitely the direction Facebook is taking their platforms in, I would say.
And speaking of stories, I would also say this, you know, if you're not sure, like, hey, what do I post for my stories? For example, look at your friends' post. So for example, I think you can open it's the Facebook app. You can go to the top and you'll see the stories option on the top. So, you know, person's basically, the ring has a blue circle around it, meaning they have something on stories. Tap into that, check it out. I think that's one thing I would do. And then also, if you're looking about like Facebook pages, it's the same thing. Check out the Facebook page and see what they're doing. I think that will give you some insight into what other brands are doing and how they're doing things. If you don't know how they're doing it, reach out to us, because that's one thing we love talking about is, you know, just ways to, like, recipes basically to help you come up with ways to, you know, create some really good stories content. But by the way, I want to thank Tim for taking a moment to join us this week. Tim,
thank you for having me.
With San Social Media at San Social Media, isn't it right? I think on Twitter.
It's at Sown Social Media on Twitter. Everywhere else, it's Sown Social Media Solutions.
Definitely. And I think you have another show as well this week.
We do have a show coming up on Wednesday. I believe it's with Mei King Sang, and she's going to be talking about building communities on social media. And she loves to throw in lots of T puns, Communa, TEA. So it should be an educational and fun show. Cool. So that's at Wednesday at noon on the Sown Social Media Solutions Facebook page, or my co-host is Jim Fuse of Fusion Marketing. That's FUHSION Marketing. And we simulcast to both pages, so you can find us either place.
Awesome. Well, anything you want to add as well?
Not really. I'm just really grateful to Tim. Thanks for being here, Christian. It's good to be back. And good times, guys.
So we'll see you guys next week for episode 188. We've got another great show for you. We're going to have the founder of StreamYard on next week.
Ooh.
And that's the tool that we're using to broadcast our live video to Facebook, to YouTube, and whatnot. But it's a great platform as well. So we'll have him on next week. But we will see you guys later on. If you want to get that blog post recap, head to socialchefs.com/daily. Get our newsletter. I'll send you the notification for it tomorrow. But thanks a lot for joining. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys.